Hello and welcome to Life Reviewed Movies. This is episode 11 and part 11 of my Planet of the Apes retrospective. Today we're going to be taking a look at episode 2 of the 1974 Planet of the Apes TV show, titled The Gladiators. Let's get into the synopsis. Verdon, Burke, and Galen stumble into a village led by a chimpanzee prefect, Barlow, who keeps the human populace calm by gladiatorial combat. When Barlow finds the magnetic disc containing the record of the flight of Pete and Alan, they must get it back in order to have any hope of returning home. Galen goes to the village to attempt to retrieve the disc. While he's speaking with the prefect, Verdon and Burke are captured. Sensing an opportunity to appease his humans, the prefect decides to pit Burke against the local champion in a fight to the death. Meanwhile, Urko has dispatched one of his lieutenants to spread the word about the three fugitives. In the arena, Burke defeats the champion but spares his life. A riot ensues which helps Burke and Galen escape as Urko's man arrives. The gorilla is upset at the loss of Burke and Galen but rejoices at having Verdon. When the prefect learns that the gorilla is intent on killing Verdon, the prefect doesn't agree and rues the day he ever set eyes on the two humans. Burke and Galen make plans to rescue Verdon and go to enlist the help of the champion, the burly Tolar. He was disgraced by Burke letting him live, so he refuses, but his son Dalton agrees to help. He's arrested by the prefect when he refuses to kill Verdon. The champion helps but is killed aiding Verdon's escape. In the escape attempt, Urko's lieutenant is also killed. The prefect calls it an accident and allows them to leave. After rendezvousing with Burke and Verdon, the prefect rides up and gives the magnetic disc to Dalton. The trio watch as the prefect rides off and then bid farewell to Dalton, who is returning to the village to make sure that the games have ended forever. So this is another great episode. Right away, I knew I was going to like it. The astronauts and Galen, they see these two guys fighting, and they think they're actually fighting. So they try to intervene, and that's when they drop the disc. But it's actually father and son, and they're training for the gladiator games. The father is the champion, Tolar, and the son, Dalton, doesn't really want to fight in the games, but he's being trained by his father. Then there's this awesome stuff where Galen's like, I'm going to sneak in and get the disc back from the prefect, and he has to pretend like he wants to be his friend, and he's trying to grab the disc while he's talking to the guy, and there's this really uncomfortable scene with the two apes together at the house. It's really like, edge of your seat entertainment. It's amazing how invested we are, with these astronauts right away, and I really felt like I was really wondering what's going to happen in this episode. So we find out that the prefect has these gladiator games, and this is how he kind of keeps the people at bay. Feels like something you would have seen out in Walking Dead. And, obviously they capture Pete and Alan, and Galen has to pretend he doesn't know who they are. And they get put into the gladiator games to fight the champion, and they do. Which one is it? Who fights? Burke. So Peter, enters the arena and fights Tolar. It's actually a really cool fight, and they tell him at the end they're cheering for him to kill him, which is what happens at the end of these gladiator games, and he refuses. And so Tolar is disgraced. Everyone goes crazy because they can't believe that, a human didn't kill another human. And then the gorilla that was sent by Urko shows up and is like, there's some escaped humans. There's an ape with them. The prefect figures out, it must be this Galen guy. Galen and Alan run off, but they capture Peter. They capture Alan. They capture Alan, Peter, and Galen run off. And so that's when they kind of go, hey, we got to go enlist the help of, we got to go enlist the help of the guy whose ass you just kicked and disgraced because he's the only other person we know. They get there, and he's like totally enraged. He believes in the gladiator games, but the son, who hates the gladiator games, is like, yeah, I'll help you out. Thank you for not killing my dad. And then basically they go try to help him escape. Ends in a whole bloody mess where Tolar tries to save his son and is killed. The gorilla is shot, and it's pretty violent. This is like, pretty violent stuff for TV, and I like it. And then the prefect basically is like, hey, I didn't see anything. You know, here's your disc back. Like, good luck to you guys. He obviously has some, sympathy for humans, but he's got no love of Urko or, any of that stuff. So he's kind of like, oh, well, wow, that was an accident. Did you see? That was an accident, everybody. And everyone just kind of like shuffles off. So, another prefect who doesn't want any change whatsoever in his village. So it seems like for a minute maybe Dalton would come with them, but he turns around and is like, no, I'm just going to make sure there's no more gladiator games. So just a really strong episode. Felt like a Star Trek plot. This is only 8 years after Star Trek the original series aired, so it's maybe trying to use that format, but felt like a Star Trek episode. Really, I thought it was enjoyable from start to finish, and another great episode. So thank you for joining me on Life Reviewed Movies, and I will have a review of episode 3 up shortly. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.